Guys, I'm Jerry Miller. It's the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us. We are live in the Macklin building on Market Street. We are steps away from City Hall, steps away from the police station, steps away from the downtown mall, from the hedge funds, the family offices, from the heartbeat of Charlottesville, breweries, courthouses, parks, encampments, you name it, it's right around the corner. We're live on all social channels. It's an absolute pleasure to connect with you through a network that we have cobbled together through hard work and sweat equity over the years, a network we are proud to call our own, where the chitter-chatter of Charlottesville, Virginia originates, percolates, and circulates. I like that, Judah. Judah Wickhauer is our director and our producer. He has become a key component of the show. In fact, I was at Curtis and Julian's wedding on Saturday, having a conversation with Curtis about the show. Curtis routinely has an alarm set for 12:30 when the program starts. As if you watch this program, you know I'm a huge fan of Curtis Shaver. And he said that he's been very impressed with your efforts on the program, that you've blossomed, that you are a key component, and that your perspective is valued, warranted, and look forward to. Pretty much his exact words right there.
That's very kind of you, Curtis.
Yeah, exactly.
I appreciate it.
Sincerely mean everything I just said in relay capacity from an inner circle friend and Dirty Curtis Shaver, the recently married man. So we got MarieBette opening a third location on Maury Avenue, and the mayor of Fry Springs Shopping Center, Terry Hinderman. MarieBette and its third location, I think, is going to absolutely crush it, Judah. I want to talk about that on this program here. The Fry Springs neighborhood and that side of town is craving and coveting a breakfast option. So we'll talk about that on today's show. I want to talk about which neighborhoods have the best walkability. I would say adding a brand in a restaurant of Fry Springs, of MarieBette's magnitude, undoubtedly drives home values to Fry Springs. Do you think that's safe to say, Judah?
Yeah, definitely.
Right? That's safe to say with confidence and conviction, don't you think?
Sure.
Okay. John Blair, welcome to the program. Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts on this breaking news. We'll talk Fry Springs Station closing. Interesting tie there. Terry Hinderman owns the Maury Avenue Shopping Center. He also owns Fry Springs Station. Not the restaurant, but the real estate the restaurant is housed in. PK Kameth, friend of the program, a fantastic deal maker himself, PK, a commercial broker of talented proportions, PK, and one of the co-owners of Fry Springs Station, announced yesterday, in what I found to be somewhat surprising fashion, that the restaurant, which had a successful run, 14 years, anytime a restaurant has a run of 14 years, you champion it as a success. I mean, the shelf life for restaurants, we see it around here, is 3 years or less. In fact, 80% plus of small businesses fail within their first 3 years. The restaurant industry is the most saturated niche or silo of business in Charlottesville and Albemarle County. We all know this. Realtors second, although the word on the street is saying the collection of realtors in this area are very quickly deteriorating. The herd is getting culled, if you may. We saw some of the herd get culled during the pandemic when it came to restaurants. And perhaps this closure of Fry Springs Station after 14 years, a byproduct of COVID and so much of how the world has changed. I mean, you look at the restaurant industry, labor shortage, cost of goods have skyrocketed. The cost of labor has skyrocketed, and finding labor is difficult. The consumer wants almost a different experience. Much of today's restaurant consumer wants a to-go scenario where they're eating at home without strangers around them while streaming their favorite content like the I Love CVille Show on their tablets, their phones, or their big screens in the privacy of their humble abodes. So we'll talk about that on today's program. I want to talk about the future of the Fry Springs neighborhood. I think this neighborhood has got an incredibly bright future. We'll explain why. I'm going to talk on today's show what neighborhoods in the area have the best walkability. And that walkability is not just bicycle, it's not just sidewalks or the ability to hop on a bicycle or a scooter in a safe bike lane. It's also the amenities around the neighborhood. We'll talk about that on today's show. I want to chitter-chatter some UVA basketball in the program. Virginia gets a victory last night against a North Carolina A&T team that is, not very good. We'll put it like that. They were 30.5-point favorites, over 30-point favorites, according to the odds makers. They did not cover last night, but they didn't cover because Tony Bennett was able to empty the bench and play a lot of different combinations of players. He didn't rock with the starters and his heavy hitters for very deep into the second half. And that allowed UVA's opponent to outscore the Hoos by a point in the second half. We'll talk about that on today's program. We broke the news on today's show about Northrop Grumman investing $200 million into Waynesboro. That news went viral on ilovecville.com. ilovecville.com, the metrics for the website are through the roof. They are absolutely sizzling, ilovecville.com. 300 plus jobs created with this $200 million plus investment by Northrop Grumman. And it was very important to emphasize that the governor's cabinet and those who spoke about this, Judah, emphasized the high-paying nature of these jobs. The high-paying nature of these jobs. They went out of their way when announcing this news to the I Love CVille Network to emphasize high-paying jobs. That's what Secretary of Commerce and Trade Karen Merrick told us. I want to get your take on the program about all this news, including the planning commissioners of Charlottesville. Are we surprised by this, Judah? The planning commissioners of Charlottesville last night in their planning commission meeting went loud and vocal about the Ivy Road, 10-story, 130-foot tall building with 242 apartments at the site of a bank, Truist Bank. We broke that news on ilovecville.com about the University of Virginia opposing that project with a letter to City Council and the Planning Commission. I don't think you're surprised by it. I think by now we know the Planning Commission. How would you characterize a group of appointed officials that Deep Throat, this is a good question for you. Bill McChesney, this is a good question for you. Georgia Gilmer, Chad Wood, Kate Schartz, the Queen of Ivy. Love when Kate Schartz watches the program. Bob Yarborough, Aaron King, one of Western Albemarle's finest graduates. I got every media outlet in town watching us right here on the I Love CVille Network. Literally, I'm watching them watch us, Judah. The news we talk about turns into news into legacy media. How would you characterize the planning commissioners? So vigorous and active and vocal and momentum driving with their support of dense, tall, large housing. And how about the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors? Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors is now pushing upzoning through a website. This was sent to me by Deep Throat. Deep Throat, this is something I would have talked about on yesterday's show if it was not for the Northrop Grumman breaking news here. The website is CVille Housing for All, CVilleHousingForAll.com, CVilleHousingForAll.com. And if you scroll to the bottom of CVilleHousingForAll.com, you see authorized by and paid for by the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors. And CVilleHousingForAll.com, I'll read some of the commentary from it. Charlottesville housing should be more attainable. Tell City Council to strengthen our community by supporting the CVille Plans Together zoning proposal. Charlottesville housing affordability depends on smart zoning decisions. Today, housing in Charlottesville isn't working for far too many in our community. Zoning laws determine how real property can and cannot be used in certain geographic areas. New zoning options outlined in the CVille Plans Together zoning can make our city housing more attainable. This website is pushing upzoning. It's very much akin to the message that Livable CVille is pushing, an activist group that's essentially a lobbying arm of volunteers that are pushing dense housing, bicycle and pedestrian safety. I'm all for bicycle and pedestrian safety. I'm not as a vigorous supporter of upzoning because my fear is the infrastructure is not there to support it. I also think upzoning is going to create speculation, which is not going to create housing affordability. In fact, I think it's going to backfire. I think it's going to create expensive housing because folks are going to speculate and get opportunistic with what they buy, and then they're going to expect return on investment with their purchase. So a lot to unpack and uncover on today's show. How would you characterize the Planning Commission?
I've got to imagine they are thinking the same thing that City Council must, and that's that we need housing and somebody's got to do something. We can't keep pushing this off in terms of buying land to prevent building on Ravenna, and they're pushing rezoning. Why would they not do everything they can to push this forward?
Commissioners chomping at the bit for Ivy Road to become a reality. Michael Payne, city councilor, straight up said, look, if the RMD, the company out of Winston-Salem, RMD, if they don't have an opportunity to build a 130-foot, 10-story, 242-apartment building on a little over an acre on Ivy Road, then this potentially could go to UVA, and then the property gets purchased by the university, removed from the tax rolls, and essentially is the university playing Monopoly, collecting real estate along a very short stretch of land to further their vision of the academic village 2.0, a vision that's clearly connecting the grounds proper to the boar's head. We talk about that on this program quite often. A lot I want to unpack today. Let's go to Fry Springs and the MarieBette news we just broke. Third location, their first location at Rose Hill. Rose Hill, more of a sit-down restaurant. That place is always packed.
Yeah.
They do a damn good job. I mean, the pastries are delectable, downright delicious. The breakfast offering is quick, fair prices, quick turnaround. The coffee is highly addictive. They have Petite MarieBette on Water Street.
Yeah.
About a 2-minute walk from this studio. That's a little bit a different cafe than Rose Hill. Petite MarieBette, more grab and go. Order at a counter, get it. There's tables to sit around, but it's more for the downtown consumer, and the downtown consumer is one that's either on a quick break or has to get to work or does not mind drinking their coffee or enjoying their pastry at their desk. It's a takeout-focused cafe. The Fry Springs location in the Maury Avenue Shopping Center will break some news for you. You can find this on ilovecville.com. It's going to be in the Anna's Pizza location. It's not going to be in the entire space. That space is massive. The Anna's Pizza space is massive. It's going to be in a scaled-down, smaller footprint. I think the location is phenomenal. That Maury Avenue Shopping Center was a fantastic purchase. It's got tremendous upside. I think the Fry Springs neighborhood was chomping at the bit for a breakfast offering, something for breakfast coffee. You have Atlas Coffee there, but Atlas is pretty much just coffee. They do have some pastries, a couple of donuts, something that you can hold in your hand, but that's a coffee focus. Do I think MarieBette 3.0 is going to take customers away from Atlas? Absolutely. Atlas is seeing this news right now and wondering how much of the customer base is going to be impacted by MarieBette 3.0 opening. I think the focus of this location is going to be somewhat of a hybrid Rose Hill Drive and Water Street with their third iteration. Here's why I'm saying it. Parking is not plentiful at the Maury Avenue Shopping Center.
Right.
So I think they're going to focus on attracting foot traffic, hundreds of houses there.
Yeah.
Hundreds of houses. You got Stribling Avenue, Cleveland Avenue, all down JPA, all around the Fry Springs Beach Club. This is right around the corner from Redfields, a neighborhood I know extremely well.
Yep.
A lot of people within, I'm not saying Redfield's within walking distance, but a short little jaunt. The Fry Springs neighborhood undoubtedly in walking distance.
Yeah.
They're going to attract or try to attract bicycle and pedestrian-based customers and also students and those tied to the Fontaine Research Park that are coming in from a grab-and-go setting.
Right.
I don't think you're going to see 50 diners, 30 diners sitting down with their cars out front because the parking's not there for it. Do you think they do well in this spot?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, like you said, there's an enormous amount of people living right around there, and there's not much going on in terms of food. I mean, there are a few spots here and there, but I think that whole area is ripe for some good operations, and MarieBette is clearly a good operation if they're if they're ready to expand.
Deep Throat sends us this from a walkability standpoint. This is research from 2 years ago. The MarieBette in Fry Springs would undoubtedly turn more of the walkability for the neighborhood to green from a coffee walk map standpoint. From 2 years ago, his research, what would you suggest? What neighborhoods had the best walkability score? Judah. Viewers and listeners, I have this information. In fact, why don't you take your guess, then go to my Twitter DMs, and then grab a screenshot of what he sent us. This is data he compiled from 2 years ago. Deep Throat, is this data compiled based on accessibility to coffee shops? The walkability scores to coffee shops and amenities of the like. Which neighborhood in the city of Charlottesville, based on research he compiled from 2 years ago, would you, after you make your guess, go to my DMs on Twitter, grab this screenshot, we'll put it on screen. What do you think is number one?
So this is based on how easy it is to walk to a coffee shop?
Walk to amenities like coffee shops.
I mean, I probably would have said Belmont all day long, but do they still have anywhere to get coffee there?
There you go. Great question. Kind of running out, right? Star Hill at a 96.54 score. A very close second, West Main at a 93.19 score. 10th and Page at 90.7. Grab that screenshot of my DMs, and if you can put it on screen, that would mean the world to me. He says Star Hill is the winner. As you can see, though, it is the sensitive areas that have the best walkability. The city is pushing the gas pedal and brake pedal at the same time. If the city wants more units in walkable areas, they should be in the sensitive areas. Sensitive areas, he means neighborhoods that are historically on the financial margin or have been marginalized from a race standpoint. One of the reasons Phase 3 Dairy Market was stalled was because of its proximity to 10th and Page, for example. Let me know when that's on screen, if you could, J-Dubs. He also says he would characterize the planning commissioners as smug, progressive, and potentially getting played by the real estate development industry. I'll give you my MarieBette take and my Fry Springs future take now. This is going to crush it. This is a fantastic decision by the MarieBette team. They will have a passionate neighborhood supporting their hours of operation, and they will get, as a secondary customer base, University of Virginia students from new dorms. There's a lot of dormitories of the new dorm variety, that's what they're called, right there. They will, as a third customer base, get the Fontaine Research Park, and it should not be underestimated its proximity to the bypass in 64, where people can kind of just get off and on real quick to get pastries to go at the beginning or at the end of the day. I think they're going to absolutely crush it, and I would not be surprised if MarieBette 3.0 surpasses MarieBette 2.0 from a gross revenue standpoint once it gets up and running and has a little bit of runway. I think 1.0 is cemented as the top revenue generator, as the OG, and as the headquarters. I think other items I want to be watching is the trickle-over effect. I think Johnny Ornalis at Guadalajara is going to see some added business and incremental revenue at his Guadalajara as potentially more people flock to this little epicenter of commerce or epicenter of dining and drinking. I am interested by the news of Fry Springs Station announcing its surprising closing yesterday. PK Kameth, friend of the program, a fantastic deal maker, commercial broker, announced the news yesterday, and he cited an ever-changing restaurant landscape, expensive cost of goods, and just the different nature of running a restaurant from when it was started 14 years ago. That's a byproduct of the pandemic and COVID. COVID and this pandemic continue to change the world we live in, whether we know it or are willing to admit it. Labor shortage is real. The labor that is willing to work understands its value, and it's asking for more money than ever. Props to the labor for doing that. That is absolute fact. The cost of goods have escalated and skyrocketed. That's clearly what's happened, and you're starting to see a lot of small business loans, a lot of pandemic relief capital and money now coming due with monthly payments, which is squeezing small businesses significantly. Fry Springs Station, the real estate owned by Terry Hinderman, the mayor of Fry Springs. Interestingly, the Maury Avenue Shopping Center, also owned by Terry Hinderman, the mayor of Fry Springs. They are right next to each other. Whatever restaurant chooses to rent Fry Springs Station has a fantastic footprint for success. Have you been in that remodeled gas station? It is sexy. It has al fresco dining. It has outside seating. It has a sweet bar with garage doors that open, allowing you to sit outside while looking inside. Has TVs everywhere. Has a fair amount of seating. Has an open kitchen. Has the je ne sais quoi of being a remodeled fuel station, gas station. The only potential hiccup, if you may, is the parking. It's the parking. Folks will have to solve that riddle, the parking, at this spot. You can park on Jefferson Park Avenue. I do it all the time. My wife does it all the time when we go and visit these restaurants. We have no problem finding it. But still, it's a stigma and a myth that people have a hard time hurdling or clearing or saying, I can do this. It's so weird, the parking conundrum around here. I had this conversation with tenants of ours. Look, I'll cut to the chase. You want to hear a life hack? And I got chastised by Dave Norris when he was on this program some years ago. I work downtown. I've worked downtown for how long we worked downtown, Judah?
10 years.
I've worked downtown before. Excuse me. I even launched this show, or even launched our businesses. 16 years ago in May. I was working for NBC 29 downtown. Worked for NBC 29 for 8 years, I believe. I can legitimately say I've been working downtown for almost 20 years. In that 20 years of working downtown, I have never once paid for a monthly parking garage pass. Mm-hmm. Now, I get 8 to 10 parking tickets a year. Those parking tickets, $20 a pop. $160 to $200 in parking tickets a year. That's called the cost of doing business. A monthly parking pass is $130 a month. Mm-hmm. Do the math, ladies and gentlemen. 8 to 10 parking tickets, $160 to $200. A monthly parking pass, $130 a month. You do the math. The myth of difficulty with parking in this town is just that, a myth. It's folklore. Any Fry Spring Station, put you on a 2-shot. Any Fry Spring Station commentary you want to offer? Have you ever been to that restaurant, J-Dubs?
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, it's a great place, great pizza. I mean, you can't beat that patio.
Oh, it's beautiful, especially on game day.
Yeah.
You got the walk scores from Deep Throat?
Yep.
You put them on screen for us? Mm-hmm. These are walk scores that Deep Throat calculated for every residential neighborhood in the city. Research from 2 years ago. He calls it a coffee walk map. What surprises you? They're on screen now. Everybody look at the screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. The higher the score, the better coffee walk map. Did it surprise you that Star Hill was the winner? Not really, right? Because that's
Not
right
really.
on West Main Street.
Yeah. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump.
From a lot on West Main.
No doubt.
10th and Page in the third slot. Does that surprise you?
No, not really. That straddles the line between...
Dairy Market, Shenandoah Joe's.
Yeah. And all the stuff on Main Street as well. I mean, they're not that far. It's not an outrageous walk, to hit Main Street from 10th and Page.
The lowest number on this walk score, Locust Grove neighborhood. Fry Springs, pretty low on there as well, at 29 and change. But this was pre-MarieBette.
Johnson Village is the lowest.
Oh, thank you for correcting me. He's exactly right. Johnson Village, deep on Cherry Avenue, the lowest. The closest walkability for coffee they have was probably Corner with a K restaurant.
Yeah.
Outside of that, zilch, zero, nada walkability for a neighborhood in the city of Charlottesville. Barracks Road and has fantastic walkability.
No doubt.
Look at how Fry Springs, if Deep Throat's, these are 2 years ago, data he's compiled from 2 years ago based on a coffee walk map. Fry Springs, he says, will go green with the opening of MarieBette. You make a legitimate argument that the MarieBette, I'll make this parallel. Ready for this, viewers and listeners? Mas Tapas drove value for Belmont homes like no other restaurant in the city of Charlottesville.
Oh, yeah.
When Mas Tapas opened in downtown Belmont, it made downtown Belmont sexy, appealing, and all the homes close to Mas Tapas benefited from an appreciation standpoint. You saw the same thing with Beer Run. Mm-hmm. Would you characterize Beer Run as Woolen Mills or Hogwaller? Bill McChesney, you're watching the program. Beer Run, Woolen Mills or Hogwaller? Deep Throat, Woolen Mills or Hogwaller for Beer Run? John Blair, Woolen Mills or Hogwaller for Beer Run? You looking that up?
I'm not really 100% sure about the Hogwaller area. I'm trying to figure out what exactly...
John Blair says, don't forget that the Biotech Institute with the Paul Manning $100 million donation is going to be right there in the Fontaine Research Park. And the Biotech Institute is going to have 2,000 to 3,000 incremental people working there that are a hop, skip, and a jump from MarieBette 3.0. Damn good comment for John Blair. He says this is a home run for MarieBette, undoubtedly.
Oh, yeah.
McChesney, this is right up your alley. He says Beer Run is the brink of Belmont. You buy that?
Yeah, it is.
You're saying it's still Belmont?
I mean, it looks like it's right on the corner of the Woolen Mills area, and Belmont's basically right next door. I'd say it's.
All right, so we'll call it Belmont. We'll call it Belmont Woolen Mills. Mas Tapas did for one neighborhood what no other restaurant has done in the city. Beer Run did to that Belmont Woolen Mills area what second to only Mas Tapas has done. Can we make a legitimate argument with confidence and conviction that MarieBette 3.0 will do to Fry Springs what Mas Tapas did to Belmont, what Beer Run did to Woolen Mills and to the Belmont peripheral? Or do you make the argument, look, Jer, Mas Tapas was the first one there. In Fry Springs Station, they already got Johnny Ornelas Guadalajara. They already got Atlas. They had Fry Springs Station for 14 years. It's not like they're creating the market like Beer Run did or like Mas Tapas did.
I think it'll help, but I think it would be hard to overshadow the chicken place, right?
Wayside Fried Chicken.
Yeah, Wayside Fried Chicken. I mean, that's practically. I mean, that's an institution, right?
I'd say that's an institution.
Yeah.
I'd say that's an institution. He's got another map for us there. Deep Throat does. If you put that on screen, let me know when that's on screen, and I'll offer some play-by-play of the map. Bill McChesney says that's East Belmont, where Beer Run is located. East Belmont. Wow. We got directional monikers in Belmont now. I like it, Bill McChesney. I like it a lot. Let me know when that map's on screen. I'll relay it live on air for those that are listening on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, live streaming in their vehicles across America to the I Love CVille Show. I'll highlight some of the viewers and listeners watching our Fine and Fair talk show now. Holly Foster and Henrico, Dr. John Shabe of Pro Renata, Rob Neal, Go Dukes, huge JMU fan, Heather Walker in Johnson Village, SHB, Que Pasa Chica, Holly Foster, Que Pasa Chica, KTP, Que Pasa, Michael Guthrie, Johnny Ornelas is watching, Kristen Smith in Keswick, Marquise Johnson. Marquise, we like to do a little back and forth banner. My friend, I do appreciate your commentary on the show. Let us know your thoughts. Jehu Martin, Woody Fincham, Mr. DL, Lauren in Keswick, Kyle Miller, Carol Thorpe, Ray Cadell, Dr. Wolf, Curtis Shaver. How are you, my friend? How's married life? How are things going with your beautiful bride? Have anything changed from dating to engagement to married life? Your wedding was fantastic. Dean Russell, welcome to the program. Nikki Chambliss, Julian Shaver, hello. Tripp Stewart, the real estate investor. Welcome to the broadcast. You got that map on screen?
I've got it ready to go.
Put it on screen there, J-Dubs. This is a map that Deep Throat put together. He says, below is our map of the results. Green zones are within 750 meters of one of the coffee shops on our list. Yellow zones are between 750 meters and 1.25 kilometers. Red zones are further than 1.25 kilometers. Our software measures the nearest point of a parcel to each coffee store, so some large parcels like parks may all show one color, even though not all of the parcel is within the specific range. Here's the local commentary. Most of the city of Charlottesville is within 750 meters of a coffee shop. Greenbrier appears to be the Sahara of CVille coffee deserts. It is also useful to look at the cumulative density function of distance to coffee shop by parcel. You can see that there are very few parcels beyond 1.5 kilometers, and 1.5 kilometers is not exactly a comfortable walking distance, but is certainly quite feasible on a bike or scooter. Man's a genius. It's like he graduated from high school early, and it's like he graduated from Harvard early, and it's like he crushed it in the macro finance world, and it's like he crushed it with negotiating with foreign governments all over the world and deploying venture capital all over the globe. And here in Central Virginia, Deep Throat, you're a gentleman and you're a scholar, and I can't wait to play backgammon with you, my friend. Greenbrier, the Sahara of Charlottesville coffee deserts. Judah Wickower.
Yep.
Greenbrier, a Tony neighborhood of 2 Charlottesville city councilors. But you didn't know that.
No.
Do you want to recount our bet for the viewers and listeners?
Sure.
Set the stage.
We have a bet going.
Are we on a 2-shot?
Yep.
What's our bet?
It's a prop bet on...
Ooh, a prop bet. Good use of prop bet. Short for what?
Proposition.
Damn good, Judah. Well done, dog. Keep going.
The bet is on who will be elected the next mayor, since our current mayor, lawyer Snook, has
Our neighbor.
Yeah.
How many steps are we away from Mayor Snook's office?
15.
15 steps away from Mayor Snook.
20.
Okay.
I believe, announced that he will not be running or
Well, his term is
accepting.
up.
Yeah,
His term is
up.
2-year terms. He served back-to-back terms. So the mayor, the position of mayor, which is more pomp and circumstance, setting the agenda and being more figurehead than actual city driver. For instance, in a strong mayor government like Richmond, Mayor Stoney, that man calls the shots. Mayor Stoney just announced he's running for governor.
Nice.
Mayor Stoney's got a lot of upside. In a weak mayor system like Charlottesville has, the mayor is more of a pomp and circumstance, dog and pony figurehead.
Yeah.
But our bet, go ahead.
Our bet is on who will be elected the next mayor.
And Judah Wickower took?
I went with Michael Payne, and Jerry went with Juan Diego Wade.
You went with Major Payne, and I went with JDW. And what's the bet?
The bet is a bottle of,
We said bourbon.
Okay, yeah.
Well, we can do scotch if you want to do scotch.
I don't care.
Do you prefer?
No, bourbon is fine.
We can do whatever you want. You get to pick the juice.
I don't mind bourbon.
And I think we set a cap. Did we set a cap?
Yeah.
What was the cap?
$50.
$50. That'll get you a nice little, you're not going to get top shelf. Get mid shelf.
Yeah.
Mid shelf's still good. And we also had a little caveat. A little caveat for fairness in this somewhat democratic setting we call the Miller Organization.
Yeah. No matter who wins, we don't drink from this bottle without the other.
There we go.
So we both win.
Someone's going to win more than the other.
Right.
To the tune of $50.
Exactly.
But the loser doesn't really lose.
Yes.
Now, you can't be drinking out of that bottle and filling it with water like I was doing as a teenager. Did you do that as a teenager?
We didn't have a whole lot of bottles of alcohol in my parents' place, and
I got the
grandmother
impression
had so many bottles of liquor that
you didn't get in much trouble growing up, did you?
Oh, I got into a lot of trouble.
Yours truly in a little bit of trouble from time to time, which I think the viewers and listeners know that. I believe. What do you think the future of Fry Springs looks like?
I think it looks good. I mean, they've got a new coffee shop. I think it's also, everything near the school is going to continue to do well.
Got a new school opening there. Biotech.
Yeah.
Straight up said 2,000 to 3,000 new people working there, all with high dollar jobs.
Right.
I think if you own real estate in the Fry Springs neighborhood, if you own a house or you're operating a business in the Fry Springs neighborhood, you have significant tailwinds behind you. I'd be curious if Fry Springs Station, PK, and Ben Thompson and his team, if they considered trying to push forward until the Biotech Institute opened. Now, I understand running a restaurant is a slog. It is not it is yeoman's work. But you got 2,000 to 3,000 additional people about to call Fry Springs their epicenter of employment, and they got bags of money that they're going to be earning. And they're a hop, skip, and a jump, literally and figuratively away from this restaurant. I think Hinderman and his Stadium Row LLC and his ownership of the gas station converted into a restaurant is in a significant driver's seat with this Biotech Institute opening. I mean, a huge driver's seat. I think Maury Avenue Shopping Center, the Maury Avenue Shopping Center, just giving some advice out there, it needs a name. It needs a brand.
Yeah.
It needs a moniker.
No doubt.
It's what should we call the Maury Avenue Shopping Center? The Maury Avenue Shopping Center needs a brand.
JPA Place.
JPA Place? I got one for you. Viewers and listeners, what do you think of this? Can I get a drum roll over there? That's excellent. That's very good.
I don't know.
How about the shops at Fry Springs?
It's not bad.
The shops at Fry Springs for that shopping center. You rebrand it, you get some aesthetic, you get some signage, a little more curb appeal. MarieBette will be your ringleader tenant that creates trickle over foot traffic, and bing, bam, boom, the shops at Fry Springs. And when that shopping center becomes even more sexified and beautified, the homeowners win. Like the homeowners won with Mas Tapas and Belmont, and with Beer Run and East Belmont and Woolen Mills.
Yeah.
The shops at Fry Springs. I like it. That's pro bono. That's pro bono for the mayor. Right there. It's pro bono. Couple other, I got a 130 with it, deal maker. So I got to be off here at the 125 marker to get ready for the 130 call with the deal maker. Anything you want to add when it comes to planning commissioners pushing the 10-story, 130-foot tall, 242 apartments on Ivy Road at the site of the Truist Bank, or Northrop Grumman pushing 200 mil into Waynesboro? What do we call Waynesboro? Waynesborians? What was the proper terminology? What was the best moniker that we said?
Did we figure out a best?
You liked one best.
I don't know if I liked it the best. I thought it was the most entertaining. That was Wayne's Bourgeois.
Was it?
Wayne's Bourgeois.
Wayne's Bourgeois.
I think bourgeois is where you get your one of your favorite words, bougie.
Oh?
I could be wrong.
You're saying bougie is one of my favorite words?
I've heard you use it a lot.
I also use assimilate a lot. Percolate a lot.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's a U in there, though.
I try to throw wrenches in these words to get you to respond. John Blair on LinkedIn. This is a fascinating question about Fry Springs for you, Jerry and Judah. I think MarieBette is more of a sign of gentrification of Fry Springs. Wayside Chicken and Subs, the Guadalajara are all pretty affordable and working in middle-class restaurants. My wife and I go to all three pretty often. But MarieBette will definitely help attract those biotech people to the neighborhood. Do you believe that the average Wayside customer is the same as the average MarieBette customer? I do not. This is an amenity 100% geared towards them. That is damn good from John Blair. John Blair, if you were here, I'd give you a flying chest bump and a pour of top shelf scotch. Age 15 years, a gift courtesy of Johnny Ornelas, the owner of Guadalajara, the owner of Mexicali on West Main Street, a restaurateur extraordinaire, and someone I'm proud to call my friend. He's watching the program right now. Do you believe, Judah Wickower, that the average Wayside customer is the same as the average MarieBette customer? And do you believe that this will yield gentrification to the Fry Springs neighborhood?
average, no. I do believe there's probably going to be quite a lot of overlap, and I don't know that. I don't think that that MarieBette by itself is going to overly influence gentrification in the neighborhood.
Some of the viewers and listeners are chiming in with my favorite words. Jamie Turner, the mayor of Gordonsville, says, Jerry's favorite word is undoubtedly. Undoubtedly, Judah. Undoubtedly.
That's pretty good. I can
Kevin
see that.
Yancey in Waynesboro says, the Fontaine Walk for the name of the shopping center. And he says, Pappy Van Winkle is what you got to have on your shelf. And when Judah loses, he's going to buy Jerry a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle.
Let me write that down.
Do you know the price of Pappy Van Winkle?
Is it out of my range?
I'm going to give you the price. Let me see if I can find it. Well, Judah, if you want to get a 12-year aged bottle of Pappy Van Winkle, a $7.50, it's going to cost you a cool $1,079.
Wow.
$1,079. We'll stick with the $50 threshold right there. It is damn good bourbon. I've had the pleasure of having it. Jamie Turner, that was hilarious. You legitimately made me chuckle. Does MarieBette coming to Fry Springs yield expedited gentrification for Fry Springs? Is MarieBette opening at the shops at Fry Springs? We're just going to call it the shops at Fry Springs. Is MarieBette opening at the shops at Fry Springs to try to capture the 2,000 to 3,000 six-figure workers at the Paul Manning Biotech Institute, which are a quarter mile down the road?
I don't think that in and of itself it will. I think having the Biotech Institute there will certainly speed things up, but I can't see people wanting to move to the area because of MarieBette more than them working at the bio. They'll already want to live near where they work, so that will draw them to the area. I don't know that people will necessarily want to move there specifically for MarieBette. Just my take.
I think the Paul Manning Biotech Institute drives gentrification, and MarieBette 3.0 is trying to capture the market before the market becomes the market.
Yeah. That makes sense.
The Paul Manning Biotech Institute, UVA has already said 2,000 to 3,000 new people new to the area. Mm-hmm. Judah makes a damn good point. They're going to want to live close to where they work, especially something like the city where it's got walkability. The JPA stretch where you go to Fry Springs Beach Club, you know that stretch of JPA? That's JPA extended.
Cuts off.
Yeah, that L.
Yeah.
That's got beautiful homes.
Yeah, definitely.
With large lots.
Yeah. Okay.
Down Stribling Avenue, beautiful homes. A lot of people don't even know the neighborhood Huntley down Stribling Avenue. Beautiful homes. Those side streets off JPA extended, beautiful homes.
No doubt.
Those homes will appreciate in value and their tax base will uptick. I got to be off the show in 120 seconds. Vanessa Parkhill says, forget the price on Pappy. First, you need to find a bottle that someone is willing to sell to you guys. Any of the viewers and listeners that want to bring us some Pappy, we won't say no.
Right?
We won't say no. Yancey says, that's sipping liquor.
Yeah, definitely.
Bill McChesney says, after doing more research, I'm going to call Beer Run the Martha Jefferson neighborhood. So the Martha Jefferson neighborhood, the old hospital, that would be Locust and High. The LLC that purchased the CFA Institute, a shell company, High Low LLC, which was a play on Locust and High Street. No, it was Low High LLC. Or was it High Low? I think it was High Low. In fact, I got the GIS open right now. Let me just go to the trusted GIS here. High. Maybe it was Low High. It was Low High. Low High LLC. Low High LLC. Going to ownership history. $21,900,000 in July of 2023 this year for the CFA Institute. Low High LLC purchasing 915 East High Street You take the address, 915 East High Street, you put it into Google, you can click a little images, and bing, bam, boom, there she is. Good work done right there by Tallheimer on Low High. Kevin Yancey says, what age do you want? Wow. Beggars are not choosers, Kevin Yancey.
Definitely not.
Beggars
choosers.
are not choosers. If you want to give us some pappy, beggars are not choosers. I'm going to respond to him. 30 seconds closing thoughts here so I can prep for my 1:30.
Well, I think it's a sad day finding out that that Fry Spring Station is closing, but definitely excited and proud of the owners of MarieBette for really killing it and obviously being in a position where they can expand their business. I think that's phenomenal, and wish them continued success. And hopefully, they'll make the shops at Fry Spring really pop.
I like it. I like it. I'm excited for the Fry Springs corridor. I'm excited for the neighbors and the neighborhood. I'm excited for the upside and the potential. I'm excited for the community. I think that this is an interesting time to be an entrepreneur and a business owner.
No doubt.
Entrepreneur and a business owner right now is working in ever-changing times. That's the I Love CVille show on a Wednesday. Tomorrow's show, more news for you. Get ready and giddy up. Thank you kindly for joining us. For Judah Wickhauer, I'm Jerry Miller.